Hi, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to do week 18 index card. The prompts for this week were red and Christmas. So I start out with a 4x6 index card. I'm going to wet it down because I want the watercolor kind of look. And there's also another little special surprise that you need really wet paints. So I'm using the Mushy Peas, and my apologies for the light. When I was recording, there was a lot of sun actually in my office and kind of white, whited. Yeah. Anyhow, so just added some night, adding more water, and I'm coming in with Dirty Martini to kind of blend that dark in. And I know where I want to put, I'm going to be putting ornaments on here, so that's where I put the night, and also where I'm going to put the darker green of chopped pesto as kind of like a shadow for where I'm going to put the ornaments. Okay, and so now I'm grabbing my alcohol. I have a spray bottle full of alcohol, and I'm gonna mist that. And because it's all wet, it somehow reacts with the water. And I don't know the science of it, but it reacts with the water and creates these little pockets of, where it separates. And you want to dry it pretty fast because it'll continue to react, and then it all flows back and yada yada. So you see on there's a couple pockets where you see where I've managed to preserve that effect. So taking in the PostBox red, just drawing a circle for my first ornament. And going to do a much larger ornament, trying to figure out where to put it. So one of the things that I would definitely recommend when you're drawing circles is draw the initial circle smaller than what you want it, because inevitably you're going to want to even it out, and then you're going to even out one side too much and even out the other side too much, and you're going to end up with 9 out of 10 times larger circles than what you want unless you start smaller. So drawing a third one, not worried about shading or anything like that. And light source is going to come in. I'm going to start with the darker red, the pomegranate, and where the light source, so where the light is not hitting, I'm going to darken those ornaments, and I'm going to follow the contour of the ornament. And on this one, there's an ornament in front of it, so I'm not bringing that shade all the way around. Now this one and this one, there's an ornament in front of it, and it's a larger one, a larger ornament, so you're going to be able to see the shading coming up. And that's where you get, right at that point is where you really get the visual that there's a third ornament sitting in front of them. Okay, so I'm bringing in the PostBox red again, and I'm just going to blend in where the pomegranate seed is, and that's going to make a little bit of a darker color. So you're mixing the PostBox red with the pomegranate seed, and it's getting a medium red. Let's call it a pomegranate PostBox, I guess. But that's why it's kind of important, at least for the way that I work. I try and do it pretty quickly so that the paint is still wet and I can mix those colors on the actual substrate. So we'll grab the a blue tone, kind of darker pink, and I'm just putting where the light would hit the ornament, I'm putting that there. So again, looking at the light source, that's right there. I'm using my finger. I'm a messy painter. Doesn't bother me to get my fingers dirty, so just blending in those edges. And then right where the light hits the glass ornaments, that white is going to kind of indicate that there's a definite reflection. It's a shiny reflection. So taking the gesso, trying to figure out where I want to put the tops of these ornaments, where the hooks come out of. So First one I'm going to have, I decided this one's going to be facing to the right, but I'm going to be able to see the top of where the hook's coming out. So that's why it's a little bit bigger and round. This one is going to be facing down, but I'm not going to be able to see the top, so it's away from me. And then this one's facing up and away from me. So having different directions kind of adds to the layering and the three-dimensional look. Grabbing the Martha Stewart silver and putting that over the gesso. And the reason why I went with gesso is gesso has that covering, you know, that coating property. So I figured that would help cover the red, because the Martha Stewart metallic colors are really more of a glaze than they are, you know, a full coverage paint. So this is where my camera view kind of goes awry, and it's going to get a little choppy. I'm only going to show you, I basically cut out where you don't see, which was the whole stem, and you're going to see some leaves. My apologies for that. So I'm sparing you just seeing a brush moving. I just cut out all the parts that you can't see. So again, it's going to be a bit choppy, but that's why. So initially I thought, oh, these leaves are in the background. I'm going to draw it so they're behind these ornaments. And then I decide here, you know what? No, I want them to be in front of the ornaments. Again, adding layers. I think that having the leaves in front of the ornaments kind of, you know, adds more impact, has more impact than having them in the background. So yeah, the rest of this was pretty much off camera because I moved the page up, and my apologies for that. So taking a Posca pen, and I'm drawing in the tints, I don't even know, the ornament tops and the little hooks, and I want this ornament to be hanging down in front, this ornament's going to be hanging down and resting on the ground, and on this one the ornament's going to be stuck up. Yeah. So something you see me do all the time is I outline it, and I'm not going to outline over the leaves. I'm going to outline in between the leaves. So now, once again, I'm adding to that three-dimensional layers, right? It looks like the leaves are in front of the frame and in front of the ornament. So this is Karen Burchill's floating acrylic technique. I'll have a link to her video on how she does that, but essentially I use this in almost everything I do. You use a angled brush and water and acrylic paint, and you just put the tip of the paintbrush into the paint, and the water that's already in the brush is going to have that allow that paint to flow out, so it gives you a real soft edge, as you can see right here. And the same thing happened here, where I went off camera quite a bit, so I've cut out all the parts where you can't see me doing anything, just to spare you. And by having that darker shadow around the ornaments, it totally makes the ornaments pop out. Gives you that contrast. I'm going to do the same around the little tops. I'm not going to use nearly as much paint as I did going around them, and you can control how much paint you use and how much flow by how much by how much paint you put on the tip of your brush. And I'm just taking a piece of scrap paper and getting up that paint. Okay, so I didn't like how hard the edges were with the black up against the ornament edge. So I'm going in with the darker pomegranate again and just doing that floating technique and softening that edge a little bit. So love this stuff, the Spectrum Noir Sparkle. It's liquid shine, liquid sparkle. It's fabulous, and you'll see here when I pick it up, and you'll be able to see it in the light, what it does. Look at that. Oof, that's so pretty. So I using the Dina Wakley and a fan brush, putting my sparkles on, and what's actually ended up being pretty cool is I didn't wait for that sparkle to dry. So it was wet. So the white speckles are actually spreading a little bit. So you're getting that, that kind of cool effect. When you get in the camera and you get light into the camera, you get those bubbles of light. I don't even know what it's called, but so I'm putting in shadows for the hooks, and yeah, this was a waste of time. So if you're going to do this, don't do it. You can't barely see it. Using a Dylusions Christmas saying, and another big tip, use the black pen and put it around that saying and even in between the saying, and it makes it seem like it belongs there. It creates emphasis around that versus just sticking a piece of paper on there. Just adding some details in the corners, and that's it. So I thought I would also include in here me putting this into my index card journal that I've created. And if you want to see a video of how I created this, please let me know in the comments. But basically I have pre-made tags that are already scored. I write down the number, the week number, and then I write down the prompts. So red and Christmas were the prompts, and then the date I finished it I'll put on here, and then I basically glue this to the card. Some of them I have already, I have some double-sided tape on them, but this one I didn't. And then I already have all the little, places for the pages to attach into the binding with double-sided tape. And then I glue the pages together into the binding, like so. And I started actually gluing the pages to the binding as well, because these pages popped out because I handle it all the time. So yeah, just fixing these pages, and you've got this cool little book. You can see right there where I have the additional flaps that I can glue things to, and I'm just gonna clip these so that the glue adheres. It's a little too wide for my clip. So anyhow, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to subscribe. I'll be doing these weekly, and if you have any questions or suggestions, please comment. Thank you. Bye.